This is a reading for the sign of Pisces in conjunction with an astrological analysis for the sign of Pisces in relation to this Leo New Moon here on August 16th, 2023. This reading and the advisement may resonate at any time, so if you find it later, that's fine. Of course, just take what resonates, everything else, just words. I am a highly Saturnian person. The world that always gives me these subtle little reminders of things to try and point me on the right path, but I don't listen until it slaps me upside the head somehow. I can't translate the language sometimes. I can only translate it when there's no need, no pressure. Alright, so I'm going to do a 9-card spread. I'm using this Mythic tarot deck from Greene. And I'm going to do a 9-card spread with the bottom card and then a cut card. So I guess 11 in all. Alright, it's time. I'm going to lay them out first. Then we will get into the symbology of this. Interesting. All right. Seeing some themes here. First, we're going to start out here. Micro to macro, macro to macro. So we're starting here with the Four of Pentacles. This man's put his child to work in the noble craft of cultivation, hanging on to the foundation of value in the self, essentially. Underneath this guy's feet, you can see foundation. Stones were laid. The table was stone. The child is the offspring of the man, I'm guessing. The child. Learning the craft of cultivation through the tutelage, through the mentoring, through the authority of the father here. Sometimes in life, the foundation of ourselves, the foundation of value, actually most times, it's formed by the cultures, the ancestors, the societies, the external consensus narrations. Because we have constructed value, constructed meaning from within out, and we need to find consensus, find a communal reason for these things. So there's a cultivation of abundance here. You've got the grapes on the vines. You've got someone holding on to the creations within themselves. This person holds them dear to themselves. Let's continue on. We've got this 9 of Swords here. This is the second Deacon Gemini energy. You see each of these 3 Medusas, essentially, are holding Three Swords. Three Swords, usually it's related to the heart, wounds of the heart. Sometimes we get trapped in paralysis analysis because we're trying to transmute the emotional pain of the past through the brain, because the brain is what we use to function in this world and in relationship. Because the language of our heart, the language of the emotion, is very subjective. It's hard to share that with others in a way that doesn't put us in Nine Swords or put them in Nine Swords. So the paralysis analysis of the past, present, future, the self-fulfilling prophecy of what once was being what always is a part of the process of the cultivation of the foundation of yourself from the previous card. So you may be having sleepless nights. You may have had sleepless nights. You may be worried about things to come. It looks like there's a cloud, a storm coming over the mountains. And we know we got to turn around and face the mountains and go towards the mountains if we want to get out of the desolation of this barren wasteland. But to do so with the mind is very tricky. That's why in Leo season it's about the cultivation of the fire, the spirit within yourself. And Leo is the working transformation of Pisces, essentially. It's the opening quincunx. You can see here on the bottom there's a beast of burden that's been put down with a single arrow, it appears. Maybe it's a tranquilizer, who knows? In any case, this guy doesn't have a bow, but he's got the arrows. Wait, I guess he does have a bow. Maybe not. Maybe he dropped the bow. Doesn't need it anymore because the beast was in relation to the processing of old emotions. It appears this Pegasus is about to take off into the heavens, into the clouds, into the imagination, to leave terra firma, to leave what once was for what could be. And this knight is carrying the fire, the torch, the eternal flame, the sense of the purity of the self forward in honor of brighter days, better days, of the here now. There's a bow in this one's hands. So perhaps the dweller on the threshold, the beast within, the dragon within, has been subdued. And the potential of happiness through the melodies of life can be renewed. In the background, we've got two pillars there. We've got an arch and we've got an edifice. It looks like an ancient myth, an anointment, waiting for you to walk through into a realization of release. Next card is the Four of Wands. Generally 4 pillars. So we've got this person here who arrived on the ship. We've got the king holding the pentacle. Looks like a queen holding a wand. We've got a guy wearing a goat skin holding a wand. Then we've got these 2 knights. These are the knights on the Knight of Swords card holding wands. So to me it looks like through the passion, through the fire of the self, we can unite all the elements. But you have to find the purity, the foundation of the purity of your own fire, of your spirit. Nourish that. Then you can ride the waves of the emotions and settle new foundation in form on terra firma. And it's about the awareness, bringing the masculine and the feminine, the yang and the yin together, which leads us here to the Lover's card. which is the alchemical wedding. Sometimes we do that through another, sometimes we do that through life itself. Now you can see the world being held in the hand of this queen here. We've got Lady Justice with the sword of truth. We've got this maiden, purity. She is holding the cup, the emotional contentment. And we've got this suitor, this looks like a shepherd boy. He's got the shepherd's staff in one hand and an apple, fertility in the other. When we can marry our emotions with our mind, when we can settle on directions of the heart, then the mind follows and it is in a balanced agreement. Then the world is in our hands and we are fertile with potential. We resonate into this world and the world reciprocates to us. So perhaps you might be meeting someone, perhaps a lover may come into your life. Perhaps the lover is the realization of yourself. In any case, the world reciprocates and it oscillates the ebb and flow between self and other, between past and future. It's found right here, right now, in the present. So creativity, the Ace of Wands. So there's a fire you're cultivating within yourself, and it's happening all the time, but maybe more so of a realization in these times with all this Leo energy. The Leo New Moon coming up, and we'll get into that in a moment. But through following your passion, nourishing the fire within yourself, feeding the spirit to bring that forward, allows you to overcome Nine of Swords, allows you to stand in the waters of your emotions, knowing that they don't define you, but they have refined you. And in that refinement, in the darkness, you've gained clarity of vision with the crow here on the shoulder of the hermit, ready to harvest in Virgo, your polarity. And look at in the right hand, the light. The light that we held within ourselves is now being shown to help guide us through the peaks and valleys. So the storm is lifting. Looks like you came through the other side of the pass of those mountains. It may look like a barren wasteland, but now you've got the fire of your awareness growing, ready to lay new seeds down and stand in the authority of your understanding. This is Wu Wei, action without action, to know based off of the foundation of the self. The animal desires want to pull in one way, the expectations of old dreams and others pull in another way. Yet you hold it fast in the here now through the presence of your own power. This is Pallas Athena, this is divine wisdom here. So you're coming into awareness of self. You may get offers, you may get passionate offers from others. You may see passionate potentials in others or in the world itself. See this ram's leaping with the child, the eternal youth. You're rewilding the child within, recalibrating the fire of your spirit through the activity of life, through the action of life. You're clearing all the hurdles. The peaks and valleys now are just beautiful landscape rather than the dredge and toil of the past. And in this process, we see judgment. Old ghosts being reborn for brighter new days. The caduceus, this Ophiuchus presence here, standing over So through your rebirth, through your realization, other people will benefit. You help others by helping yourself. You help them to transform, to see that things are potential in realization when you can find the fire within yourself, when you can find the purity of what you've gone through and how you've refined that in life. Very good reading. Now let's get to the chart real quick. Now, this is a Western tropical chart. I use Western tropical astrology. And if I'm doing a personal consultation, I use the Porphyry house system, but for simplicity's sake, I decided to use whole signs here because it's easy to line up. I haven't figured out the chart stuff, but in any case, just this is a chart of August 16th, the Leo full moon. And why is this looks like Aquarius? Let me tweak this. All right, now we're talking. So here's Pisces. We got the Pisces rising now. So this is if you're rising, sun, moon, or progressed. Check out your progressions if you know what those are. Otherwise, just focus on what you know. So Saturn's in Pisces right now, as well as Neptune. Neptune is the modern ruler. Jupiter is the ancient ruler. Jupiter down here in Taurus right now. So it's a rewiring of the way we think through what we feel. What we feel is a progression. It's not a static. We're always growing, changing. Some people call it evolution. Some people call it devolution. It's change, essentially. So Neptune in the first house, you could be, or in Pisces in general, you could be amplified to feeling things which are even more ethereal than you have felt before. You may be pulled into a need to find gravity of structure in the world around you at this time because you feel like you're falling away from the self. Saturn's in disillusionment right now. The beliefs of who and what we are through what we feel is changing. When that happens, there's a lot of emotional charge rising up within us, and the world is going to give us opportunities to focus that on something. Anger is the primary ground for these unprocessed emotions. That's why it's good to get into your own creative flows. That way when the world happens, you're already happening, so there's a mutual reception rather than a total conception where it just takes you with it. So let's talk about this new moon. It's happening in the 6th house. So 6th house, it's a Virgoan house. It's the health, the service to the self, and the service to others in relation to that. So it's your routines and how you can optimize your routines in a way where you harvest the benefits of it and you can share that harvest with others. And it's your work, it's what you do. So now we've got the new moon. Ignore the moon being in Virgo here. Earlier in this day it was at 23 Leo. So there was a stellium. Venus in a balsamic phase conjunction with this new moon. Black moon Lilith in a new phase conjunction. Venus has been retrograde for a while. Venus was stationed in a yod with Neptune in the south node in the Venus-ruled sign of Libra for 11 days. Maybe a little more. But Venus is retrograde. But since she's in a balsamic phase conjunction, it's the closing, it's the ending, it's the catalyzation of a cycle, an awareness of where you've compromised your value, your sense of love, where you've limited your love based off of beliefs that were rooted in values that other people seeded within you, that your surroundings forged you through, programmed you through, gave you the materials from which you can build through. We need materials to build with, and then they burn, and then we reconstruct through these processes a lot of times. So your Venusian values are changing. The way that you have thought about your emotions might be changing. And it's not so much a mental thing, it's more of a feeling. And the mental thing comes afterwards. But it's rooted in what is the value of the process. So with Black Moon Lilith in a new phase conjunction, this is the repression of the anima, the feminine aspects of ourselves which empower us. Being open, being intuitive, being aware without the constraints, the fire of the ego to guide us. It's the crone, it's the wisdom of the mother, it is the power of perception realized. And it's a realization that we can't choose. It happens through following the passion, through rewilding the child within, through understanding that you are a child of the divine. You are a child of all this. And you grow with life. So the emotional awareness is being reborn in a Leonine way. So your self-expression and how you express yourself and what you do in your daily routines, how you find the value and the valor in that, how you refine your spirit is becoming more, it's becoming an awareness to you, even if you can't share it with others. And a lot of times when you try and share it with others, you kill it, or you limit it because other people can't speak the same language. So it's okay. If you feel a need to share it, do so in the most creative way you can. That way, whatever feedback you gain is basically just an analysis of something that someone else is only capable of seeing, feeling, being. And you can find your own foundation through the pursuit of your expression, your creation. So what brings you joy? What brings you joy helps you to express joy, helps you to share it. And that's 7th house here. So we've got the Uranus square with the new moon. We're going to get through this real quick. So it's the Promethean process, new awareness, new spirit being brought to light through your mind, trining this Mercury, Pallas Athena conjunction, Mars, and it's in a grand Earth trine with Pluto as well and Mars. So you're catalyzing your vision, or allowing for new vision to transform through an awareness of where you've been, where you are now, and where you could be in relationship with other people who are in alignment with harvest and with the cultivation of the self for a greater tomorrow, for a greater now, for a greater vision. So this new moon is trining the south node in your house of values in Aries. It's also trining the wound of Chiron, the wounded healer. So the wounded mind is being healed through realizing values are placeholders. True value is not found in the deification of another's expectation. It's what you can feel and bring forward. What's the universal truth for all of us, golden rule level stuff. And it's sextiling the south node here in Libra, the house of transformation. So you will have a lot of opportunities to transform through bringing spirit to form, bringing heaven to earth in the here now through what you do, through your routines, through your perception. And that's where the harvest is as well. So it's you're harvesting relationships by doing you in a new way, by realizing your own values aren't found in another person's judgments. It's in what you can feel and bring forward that nourishes your spirit, and sharing that without expectation. So now we've got all this energy in the 7th house here of Virgo, and we've got Pallas Athena coming into a balsamic phase conjunction with Mercury. That's Pallas Athena represents higher intellect, the wisdom of the mind. It is the power of perception that gives power its meaning. Otherwise, it's just force. And we've got this conjunction in a balsamic phase conjunction with Mars. Mars is in the final decan of Virgo, which is ruled by Venus. And this new moon's in the final decan of Leo, which is ruled by Mars. We've got the nodes, south node now in Libra, north node now in Aries. And Aries is the transformation of Virgo. So the realizing you and your passion in a new way comes through the emotional awareness of release. We've done all this South Node stuff from Capricorn, Sagittarius, Scorpio. Now we're into the application of it, engaging with others, engaging with relationships. And that's relationship to self, to other, to this world, essentially. So doing old relationships in new ways leads you to the truth of who you are. And it leads you to healing, not only for you, but for other people. The example we live by is shared by others. Either they accept it or they don't. That's their process. So we're in this mercurial phase where Prometheus is being realized and Hermes Trismegistus is actually becoming the messenger of the gods. So perhaps you might be able to speak your truth more. Perhaps you might be able to find resonance with others who can hear your words, who can nourish your words, who can nourish your mind, whom you can nourish through your passions. When you can find the authenticity of the self and the authentic passion to bring forward, and you reciprocate in this world with others. And Pluto is helping to refine that. It is the transformation, the soul's evolutionary intention. So if you can find yourself in a place of joy, follow your desires. It will lead you to beneficial outcomes. And this is the vision we're transforming. So your friends may transform, your relationships will transform, your sense of self is transforming, and that's the locus of control. That's where the gravity of foundation of self is being forged. And it's not about, well, it may be about placation at some times, but it's about finding the resonance of your true value, cultivating your authenticity, and just trying to bring that forward in a way that is not controlling, but free-flowing. All right, and Vesta down here in the 4th house. Vesta is a Virgoan archetype. It is the analysis of the data that you had, the information that you had, understanding that it had a place and a time, and now through all the debris of the past, you can use that to burn the passion and bring that forward as the gifts of your ancestors. The cultivation of human spirit, that's the heritage of life. All right, if you like this analysis, if you'd like a personal astrological analysis, go to my website and schedule something. Otherwise, thanks for watching, listening, and being.